woman should be who and what she wants. We support the multifaceted woman, the woman embracing many titles, undertaking different ventures, and building generational wealth. You are a Jackie of all trades, master of your empire. Enterprise Empress, you are an unstoppable force.
Welcome back, Empresses. We're here for today's Jackie Show via our co-host,
Natalie. Hi, everybody.
And myself, Sharon. We're so excited, as you know, or maybe it's your first time and you don't know. So we're going to tell you, we are Enterprise Empress, and we interview multifaceted women who wear many titles, undertake many ventures, and who are building generational wealth. We call it today's Jackie because
she's a Jackie of all trades, master of her empire.
That's right. Today's Jackie is Lynn Cunnins. And we said it right?
You did. I love it. All the time I'm like, yeah, it's all right.
Well, welcome, Lynn.
Thank
Lynn
you.
Is the owner, founder, and executive director. Well, the executive director, the founder.
President and CEO.
Get me right.
It is founder.
CEO.
It's founder, president, and CEO
of Flippany.
Yes.
Now, what are your other titles since you're naming off titles?
Well, it was funny because we had that conversation and mother, survivor, entrepreneur were the three that highlighted kind of our outreach today. And I don't know, auntie, friend, compadre.
Natalie mentioned one. Natalie, didn't you mention one that she always leaves out? She is a helper and a survivor, I think.
Yeah,
right?
the survivor is the one that I always leave out. That it was interesting in our conversation. I was like, wow, I even told my family. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I really like when people mention survivor because for the show, it's about the journey. A lot of times people want to hear about the end result. What are you doing now?
Right.
But it's the journey that I think is important because that's what helps people stay the course for where they're going and what they're inspiring to do.
Right. Yeah.
So let's talk about your journey today. Tell us a little bit about Flippany.
Well, Flippany was, I created Flippany 15 years ago as a nonprofit to help people do better where they're at. I mean, based on my conversation with Natalie, it was quite interesting. And just kind of touching base on why I decided to do what I'm doing. And really it's because I wanted to help people the way that they needed to be helped, not the way that I thought that they needed to be helped, because I needed a lot of help through my entire life and people gave me the help that they thought I needed. Yeah. And then when health and wellness became my answer to what I needed, I mean, I decided that everybody needs this because I'm not alone. Other people have these challenges and can't push through them. And maybe what I've learned and how I've learned it could help them. So yeah, that's really the big picture on how I got to Flippany and working with kids and giving them that, hey, you can do whatever you want, but you need some resources and you need to pay attention.
Right.
And how do you get them to pay attention? It's hard.
It's hard. Right.
So that's really good because you talked about health and wellness and food insecurity.
Yeah.
Those are the areas that Flippany focus on. And why was that the way, the avenue you wanted to use to help kids? What's the connection there?
The connection's my experience where I didn't do well in school ever. PE, A's. Unfortunately, I'm of that age where I had to play sports with boys. Okay. And they didn't have girls sports. We were still, kind of together. And it was a tough road. And kind of in my 20s, I started, doing more fitness goals, health related goals. Personally, things happened in my life. I kept trying different ways to have a better life. And when I really challenged myself with health and wellness, individually, not on a sports team, but like riding, mountain biking, canoeing, kayaking, I met a great group of people and we set these goals to race and finish. Now it was like a 4-day race and you had to figure out where you were going. Okay. And I got scared by sharks. I mean, there's all kind of crazy things that happen, but I didn't quit and I didn't give up and it made me a better person and it made me stronger. Right. So in one of these races, I had blisters, my feet hurt. And they're like, so if I put a gun to your head, could you keep going? And the answer was, yes. Yeah, hello. Yes. And that was really that inspirational piece where if somebody said, you have no choice, you have to do this, Could you do it? 9 times out of 10, we are so much stronger than we think we are.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
giving young people, and I mean, even our peers, right? That message, you can do anything, but you got to work hard. Like, it's not just going to be like, oh, look, I worked really hard and now I quit.
Right.
It's like you work really hard and then that's not working. You do something else and you keep working really hard,
Right.
Right.
even in the wrong direction.
Perseverance.
Right.
Yeah.
That's perseverance. Right. And
So
even
true.
with getting to Flippany, there was a part of your journey, like you were an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Like, so how did you transition from entrepreneur to founder? Like, what did that road look like?
Wait, now you heard her skip over it, right? So she was like, I went through some things. It's like, what things? People always skip over that. Like, what's the background? That's what we want to hear,
Yes.
because there are women who are going through some things, and how
Right.
can they relate? We all see the end result, but what's
Right.
the thing? So tell her what the things are.
Right. I mean, the things
how you
start
get
young,
founder.
right? The things start young. I was in a very abusive family relationship. My parents were extremely physically abusive. I mean, verbal abuse was nothing. The physical abuse was quite severe. And that was just how I was raised. And I mean, personality wise, I'm not that person. I am that in your face. So, oh, you're going to hit me? Well, guess what? I'm going to deserve it. Oh, you think I slept with your so-and-so? Well, let me try that, because now I'm getting accused. I'm going to run into it.
Right.
So I ran
So you were
into things.
belligerent.
So much so. And just so many things I ran, like on that one, I'm going to run into the fire, not knowing even if there's anybody in there, just because maybe.
Mhm.
So I did a lot of that. And, with a lot of that comes a lot of pain, and it comes a lot of, personal suffering, because
Mhm.
I don't know how to fix what's wrong, but I clearly know something's not right.
Right.
But I have no idea what it is. I don't have the emotional vocabulary to understand
Mhm.
what it is.
Mhm.
And it's a blind spot. Like, I don't know what I don't know. So it was really just, I was fortunate that I had that perseverance, and I would try stuff. And if it didn't work or make me feel right, I would try something else, but I was always trying. And that in my journey, and I was talking about a book that I read, Grit.
Right.
And that, to me, is the key. It's the grit. It's the, I didn't stop. I got knocked down. I got beat up. I got put to the side. I mean, my children don't even know yet.
Wow.
I have a 16 and 20-year-old. My 20-year-old is starting to know. My 16-year-old says, when I'm 18, I get to know. And I said, yes. When you're 18, you get to know.
Yeah.
You'll protect them.
But yeah, that perseverance, or that push through, and that's when the survivor in the title was really something that I don't let many people know. And I'm also a recovering drug addict. Like, I haven't had drugs in like 30 years, since I was 18.
So like,
I went
be
all down that
persevering
spiral
person.
too.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Right. And you said it, like, if
Yeah.
it was something to try, you tried it.
I tried it.
Yeah. But you shifted all of those things, that same drive, that same ingenuity, just switched it from things that were maybe more self-destructive into ways to channel your superpower.
Yeah.
Right. It was like, what am I going to do? Use my power for good
Yeah.
or my power for evil?
Yes.
Because working the system, running around, breaking the rules, taking the easiest, softest way is the same exact superpower
That you used to be
as
successful.
I am using to be successful. And I didn't know in my 20s that the superpower was the wrong way. And then headed into my 30s,
Mhm.
making that transition at 20 something, I was like,
Yeah.
well, these things can actually get me the things that I want. And that was the real, like, aha. And you don't know, everybody told me not to, like, what are you starting a nonprofit for? I said, well, because I want to do this.
Mhm.
And they're like, that's crazy. And here I am. It's been 15 years.
Well,
and-
crazy normally gets us to
Right, it gets us
Right,
somewhere.
right.
Right.
We
That's
talked
one
about
thing
that,
we've learned
right.
in history. Is crazy can get us somewhere.
Yeah, you need a little crazy. to
right. You need a
try.
little crazy.
Yeah,
You do.
just a little
Now you
bit.
were asking her a question about how she transitioned to
From entrepreneur
to
to director of Flippany.
It was really, it was really the space that I was working in. I was doing like team building for corporate executives. And it was really simple. I was also taking care of my mom. She was physically ill, and I was her caretaker.
Okay.
So I didn't have a lot of time. So I did one job. And then I was like, hey, people should sponsor me, right? Every nonprofit. I'm just going to get a grant. I was like, oh, what? You won't sponsor me? You won't donate? How come? I'm
It's like,
doing
"Papa,
this.
don't give me money."
Right. I'm working with these kids that need these like skills and tools, and nobody's providing it for them.
Mhm.
And it was really working with teenagers.
Mhm.
And because I was a very broken teenager. And right now, middle school is my is my pain point, because there's so much that happens there.
That's
So
when the
much.
transition happens.
And nobody
Mhm.
Yes.
nobody, like, they're not a target age group.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, we need to do something. So I showed up. I said, I can use my team building stuff and I can do it here. I went to a park every day in a community that didn't have any structured programs, but that had a great park.
Okay.
And I showed up.
So you
I
built
showed
a
up.
team of future leaders.
I showed up, and the kids showed up in a way that I wasn't expecting.
Okay.
So I got some partnerships and I got some other people to show up with me.
Okay.
We showed up. I thought I'd have 10, 15 kids. We ended up with 40 teenagers
That's a reverse story right there.
that showed up for us on their own 6 to 8 p.m. every Tuesday and Thursday for like a year and a half.
That's amazing.
We became
On their own.
we just became their coaches. I would take them through fitness drills. I would race them because I could still beat them then, because I was like 35. I was young and spry and really strong. 15 years can do a number to you. But I was, I was just showing up for them. All I did was show up and ask them what they needed.
Show up. And
Just
you know
show
what?
up.
That's what I heard. Show up.
So she talked about the connection for sports and food and building these young leaders, right? And I think about, you were saying that's what worked for you with your transition, right?
Yeah.
I have been struggling to work out in the morning. I paid for a
hard.
trainer and I'm still like, oh my God, what is the issue? And she had a heart to heart with me and it was like, it's discipline. And so we always think, why is it that people want to use sports, or why do they want to use, food? Because if you're not healthy internally, and if you're not mentally ready for everything you want to do, that's when you see yourself not moving forward. But when you're into sports and you're taking care of yourself physically, it's also building the discipline that you were building with these kids and that you gained for yourself transition you into being this founder of Flippany.
That's the grit.
Right.
Working out is hard.
It's hard.
Eating healthy is hard. It's like,
And
we
the
just heard
community.
today's National Donut Day. We all said, woohoo!
Right. National Donut Day.
It's today.
Yes.
Thank goodness I did not know. But come on, now we're all just like, now I got a donut in the back. I don't even like donuts. That's not my first cheat.
Right.
Donut's like 27. Like, I got other ones. But it's the grit. It's doing hard stuff. And I mean, if you know one thing, you can do hard things.
Right.
Right.
We're in a society that lets us not. That gives us excuses. That says, you're going to, wait.
Yeah.
You're going to be okay. Don't worry. Let me do it for you. I'm a parent. Let me do it for you. Don't you worry.
Yes.
Here's your silver platter. And then I'm like, why do you think you got a silver platter? Oh, yeah. Because I provided it. Right.
Right.
So right now I've learned, like, with our young adults and our young people right now, they don't have as much grit, but they can do 25 things at the same damn time.
Yes, they can.
Yeah.
So it's
Yes,
just
they
a
can.
different skill set.
Mm-hmm.
And it's and being able to do 25 things at one time and having grit.
Right.
Yeah.
Those
They
are
can take over
superpower.
the world.
They
They can take over the
They are going to take over the
Yes.
world. And all I
Yes.
do when people talk to me about our young people and go, what are they going to do? They're all on their phones, all this social, all this tech, all this. I said, they're going to be able to do 15 things at the same time.
Right.
They're going to be so efficient. They're going to have their kids. They're going to do this. They're going to do that while all of this is happening. They're going to make money while they're sleeping. And they're going to make it.
Right.
So it's that,
That's what we call the
yeah.
multifaceted woman.
Yeah.
That can
Right.
do all those things.
And that's the building the generational wealth, making money while you're sleeping.
Make money while you're
That's
sleeping.
it.
That's
Yeah.
what we said.
Grit.
How do we
Does
make money
that.
while we're sleeping?
How do we make money
I
while
don't
we're
know,
sleeping?
but come on.
And you just answer, because a lot of people ask, when we have these platforms, people want to know, how do you do it?
Mhm.
And you just answer that. It's the grit.
It's
When you
I
build
tell
the
you, it's
discipline.
grit.
Yes, it's the grit. When you build the list, it's like, how do I do it? The discipline. And the best way to build discipline is physically, emotionally, and spiritually. If you can get those three things intact, oh my God, you will have the grit to be able to pursue anything.
You'll believe you can do it.
And you'll believe you can do it.
Because it's all the little choices. It's, hey, I got an extra $5. Do I go get myself a nice fancy coffee?
Right.
Or do I put it, oh, it's only $5. Let me get the fancy coffee. No, the grit is saying, I'm not going to get the coffee. I'm going to make the Keurig. I'm going to spend my office's 50 cents. I'm going to make my Keurig, and I'm, and I'm going to put that $5 away. Because I mean, if you do some math and you figure out $5 a day over 15 years, how much coffee are you going to have?
Right.
That can now make money for you while you're sleeping.
So that's the saying, they say you do what you have to do so you can do what you want to do later. Yeah. And a lot of times nowadays people just do what they want to do.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then later they're like, man, I regret that. But you wouldn't have to regret so much if you made decisions about your future now.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's hard.
It's hard. It's not an easy thing to do. You say it like it's easy, but it's not, because it's like, I want to live life. I want to enjoy life. I want to do this. I want to do that. And you should, but the grit will help you be responsible about it.
I want the new phone.
Right.
So you have to have a plan, right? You have to know what your end goal is in order to do what you're saying. In order to do that with the grit, I have to know, like, this is my goal.
Right.
My goal is to retire when I'm 25, if that's your goal, right? Okay, and then what do I need to do there? And then stick with it. That's where, if you don't have that, then what's the point?
You're just flowing. An exercise that I think is so great, and we do this as women, and we do it in our nonprofits with kids, but we do it with kids, but we really should do it as adults. So we do our vision board, right? And we put everything we want.
So important.
But we never do the second step. The second step is now, I need you to write down and budget everything that you have on that vision board. So you want that car. How much does that cost? You want that kind of house. How much does that run? You want that kind of business. What does it take to do this? Write down what it takes to get that. Then look at that, and then look at how you're living every day and see if they coincide. Because you can wish for things all day long,
right?
But you have to work for the things you want to actually happen on your vision board. And are those two parallel to each other?
And that's the disconnect. The want doesn't get you what you're wishing for.
Right.
The actual plan, even the belief that you can have it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Just the belief that I want this. At 40, I decided I want to retire at 65.
Mm-hmm.
I started at 40. I just introduced to my 16 and 20-year-old children, how can you retire?
At 40.
No, at 65, if they say
how can they retire at 40?
Exactly.
Since you're starting at 40 for 65, they can start at 16 for 40.
We went and looked at how simple it was. If they save $200 a month from now until the time their retirement, they'll have almost $2 million saved for retirement.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just that simple. So
that's simple.
The thing that I find so amazing, amongst many things about Lynn, is Lynn only graduated from high school.
True.
Right? So her success is not because she went and matriculated and got all these fancy degrees.
Oh, she matriculated
not in school,
right? Not in school, right?
Way, the traditional way, right? So for those who feel like, well, I didn't go to college, I didn't have the opportunity to do that, or I couldn't afford it, whatever the situation may have been, like, you are a living, breathing example that you didn't have to take that route in order to be successful, in order to impact your community in a major way. How many people, we talked about this in meals, how many meals has Flippany done?
This past year, over 3 million.
3 million meals.
Wow. She's feeding
365 days.
3 million.
3 million meals.
I was like looking at the numbers going, oh my gosh. Now, I have an amazing team. We have 25 people. We have people running around doing the work, making the connections, doing we have people delivering meals, picking up meals, we have paperwork upon paperwork upon paperwork, but it's really just that hard work and just
persevering.
But learning. So I love to learn.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that
that's
people,
the key too.
I love to learn. Like if you're watching Netflix every single night and you're doing your thing and you're on your social, you just lost 2 hours of something you could learn that you're passionate about. I don't care if you are passionate about anthills.
So you studied your craft.
I know a lot about what we do at Flippany. I know a lot. And my job at Flippany now, as a president CEO, is to make sure that we are around forever. And it's, it's that the people that have invested their time and effort in running Flippany can do it as their last jobs. I always want it to be their last job. Like, this is your last job. Come here, work here. This could be your last job. Like, this is what you could do until you're 20, 30, 40, 50, until you retire. So let's make that happen.
So there's two questions I have. So my first question, well, this is actually a comment. One of the things Natalie talked about what she loves about you, about the fact that you matriculated without an institution to do it. You studied on your own.
Mm-hmm.
What I love about Lynn is that she's always thinking about others.
people.
And that is
Mhm.
something that we have in common with you.
Mhm.
Is that we don't want to just make it. We want to take a team with us. It's so important for women to understand how we should be doing things together. If you talk a lot about, and yes, we've been able to communicate with Lynn a lot, so that's why we're able, and we're
pulling on past conversations.
We're pulling on past conversations. This is why we want her on the show, because we want you to get the nuggets that she's already been giving us.
Right.
But she talks a lot. Lynn talks a lot about the pie.
Oh yeah.
And how people, they want to keep the whole pie to themselves.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing you said, it's like, but you can't even eat a whole pie by yourself.
Right.
And if you do, it's just gluttony.
You're
Like you're
sick.
just
Yeah.
sick.
You're
It's
sick.
greedy, right? That's the same thing with economy.
Yep.
We are greedy for so much more, but what are you going to do with all of that?
Mhm.
One of our executive director of Sprout, our nonprofit, Tanisha, she said, people buy these big old purses, and she's like, I could get 1 million purses for the price of that one purse.
Yeah.
And give other people purses.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's the thought process that we should have. Like if you only need 1/4 of the pie, bring on other people that can get the rest of the pie.
Right.
Don't try to keep eating it just so you can stunt.
Well, the interesting thing to that too is the person who wants the whole pie doesn't understand that wanting the whole pie is not okay.
Mhm.
They
Mhm.
think that having the whole
Mhm.
pie equals you're going to respect me, you're going to look up to me, you're going to think I'm great. I'm going to get all of these other things because look what I did, look what I have, look what I, can do. That's just not me. Now, I'm in an entrepreneurial group where I work with other entrepreneurs, and they are just amazing human beings, and they can do so much. And I'm like, dang, like I am personally motivated by helping. So my main motivator in life is to help.
Right.
Blessing or curse.
That's your
superpower.
Where other people's is
Love
money.
it.
If your motivation is money, you want the whole pie. I'm just very fortunate that it's not the whole pie. It's how many people, like, no pun, right? Can I feed you the whole pie? Like, even though that's not, you know what I mean?
never
That's
know.
good. Yes.
And I only need this much of the pie, but then I want you to have the pie. I want you to have the pie. I want I want another person to have the pie. I don't want the whole pie.
But you know what? If you share the slices in the pie, and you also teach them how to make the pie, you can eat that pie together, and then each person can make their own pie and then share those slices, and then we just keep having more and more desserts, which is donut day, and we just talked about healthy, and we keep talking about pie. So I'm gonna switch to another question. You're gonna make me want to go get a donut. Okay, so my question, Nat, and then I'm gonna let Nat, because I'll keep asking questions, so I'm so intrigued by you, but my question was, being a nonprofit, right? We talked a lot. You talked about generational wealth. You talked about savings, your future. I see that a lot of people struggle in nonprofit with understanding what is the legacy behind this for my family, right? People don't highlight altruism legacy, right? So when we think of generational wealth, right, we think, what are we passing on? The business is being passed on to our kids.
Right.
But when you're in nonprofit, the money goes back into the nonprofit. So unless one of your
and now
kids,
I'm having that struggle.
unless one of your kids wants to work in the nonprofit and become the executive director one day, and it's or on the board of it, how do they gain from your legacy? I know the answer is altruism, but what are other ways? Like, how are you navigating through that? And how can we help other nonprofit owners navigate through that thought?
It's funny because I've been asking myself that same question. Like, it's not like, a lot of entrepreneurs, and what I had done is you build a business, it becomes successful, you sell it, and then then you make money while you're sleeping, and then you grow a business, you sell it, you take the money. And so that isn't my situation. And as a nonprofit CEO, if I work more and do more, I might not make any more money. I'm going to make the same salary. So what's the motivation? Again, that motivation of helping people, it's my thing. So I've also been looking at that, and I've kind of connected my motivation to wanting to help people into consulting. So right now, as a CEO, I mean, the conversations that I have, I love talking to people about their passion and what I know to help them get it. So other newer nonprofits, people who want to solve a problem, people who want to help their community, I mean, I want to say it's, 6 degrees of separation. They talk to somebody who talks to somebody who connects them to me.
Right.
And right now, I think that's going to be my next, that's going to be where I go with consulting, or authoring a book is something else I'm working on. So I've learned if you don't go to school and you don't have an education, you need to write a book.
Write a book.
And how did I learn that? I just read about it, and all these people don't have degrees or ABC, PhD, XYZ, MSB. Author. I'm like, I can do that.
You can do that.
So for
Maybe.
those
you can do it.
She can.
You can do
You
it.
can. Like, we're so intrigued talking to you now, and now it's audiobook, so it'll be like talking to you,
Right?
listening to you all day. But so what I hear you saying, because I really want nonprofit owners, women out there who, like you said, want to solve a problem, want to start a nonprofit, want to be an executive director of a nonprofit, whether it's yours or someone else's. The key is to have, like we said, multiple streams of income, is to have multiple projects.
Yeah.
So allow that to open up a door for the other things that you want to do. Continue dreaming, continue putting other things on your vision board that this platform will set you up for the next platform. That way you do have something to pass on to your kids. And don't discredit that passing on a heart for helping and serving, that is a legacy too. Not everything is financial generational wealth. Sometimes altruism can set your kids up to have the right positions to serve in their community and pursue their dreams. My dad served in our community. Because of that, I'm serving at the place that he set the foundation for. That's where I'm working at. That's what has given me my salary, which has given me an opportunity to open up more doors, which is even this platform.
Yeah.
So you have to think that it doesn't limit you. You just have to be smart about how you utilize your resources.
Yeah. And nonprofits, it's operating in business. I mean, people ask me all the time, I said, your nonprofit is a business. If you're not profitable, you're going to go out of business.
That's right.
So your profit is impact. Like your net is impact. Like if you're doing well, if you are not losing money and you're creating impact. If you're losing money and creating impact, you're not doing it. Stop doing it. You need to do something else. Find another nonprofit, partner with them, do it with them.
Yeah.
Really, and pay yourself.
Yes.
Like get yourself
And
started.
Don't feel bad. Guilty about paying yourself for the work you do.
Don't feel badly about it. I mean, you still need a job. You still need to, still need to save money.
Right.
You still have not even that you have bills. Like you should be able to retire.
Right.
You should be able to, I mean, we look at these, big CEOs from these huge corporations that break laws, that do things wrong, and still get a $400 million buyout.
Right.
My contract doesn't say that. My contract doesn't say that.
Right. So we need to set up nonprofits to think more like corporations. Even though you're serving people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Provide resources to your staff. Nobody working in a nonprofit should have to use federal subsidies.
That's right.
Every single day.
And nonprofits
to get by.
They should get them
by.
insurance too. I hate it when nonprofits are not giving staff insurance.
We just started like 2 years ago.
Well, you have to get there.
Right. You have to build.
There are some people that have to build because you need the staff to do the group. And then there's some people who just feel like, because it's a nonprofit, well, you can use, in this case, Marketplace or something else. No, if you're a nonprofit executive director, think like a corporate CEO.
Think like a corporate CEO. And that's really what I try to drill that in. And yes, we're doing good work. And and yes, we're doing good work. I'm not selling you a widget.
Right.
I mean, it's a great widget, right? But it's good work.
Right.
We can talk all day, Natalie, but I think we're at time.
Lynn, before we go, real quick, there's fundraisers that Flippany has this summer.
Yeah.
Can you tell the people about the fundraisers and also where to find Flippany?
Sure. You can find Flippany at www.flippany.org. And
Flippany.
It's FL.
Oh, it's right there.
IPANY. Flippany.org. For our taste and toast, you can go to flippany.org/tasting. And we have events in June, July, and August. It's you eat at your house. We hook you up with wine, food, and entertainment. So we it's all virtual.
I'm actually party.
Yeah, I'm actually hosting a party.
Wine.
I have some people come over now that we've been vaccinated. Get vaccinated.
Yes.
And it's a good time. So we're looking forward to this summer, and we're looking forward to seeing everyone out in the community.
Man, please, you guys, go to our website, support her. You can't beat serving 1 million people with meals, serving 1 million meals. Like, we should be supporting them for what they're doing for our community. Thank you so much for tuning in to our show. I just want to remind you that continue to follow us on Enterprise Empress on IG and Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube so you can see all of our videos with multifaceted women like Lynn who are serving our community, building generational wealth, and who are wearing their crown well.
Wear your crowns, ladies. Bye-bye.
Bye.